Hello and welcome to Lesson 3, Understanding Addition of Integers. If you would please turn to page 12 in the notes section of your math binders. And we are going to look at what happens when we are using a number line with both counting up and adding a positive number and counting down, adding a negative number. Okay. If you want to write in the adding a positive and adding a negative underneath those two images in your binder, it will probably be helpful. And you can see where we have both the little loops like we drew in lesson 1, and then those vector arrows like we were drawing in lesson 2. Alright, so let's look at question A. For each example above, what is the distance between 2 and the sum? Well, we need to make sure we understand the word sum. So the sum is the answer to an addition question. So 2 is the first number, and in this case the sum is 6. So between 2 and 6, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. Likewise, in this second example, we start at 2. This time our sum is negative 2. And again, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces away. So in both examples, the sum is 4 spaces away from the 2. My apologies, that should say from right in there. Let me add that in for you. There, 4 spaces away from the 2. Okay. Now, if you notice, this number is a 4, and the absolute value of this number is a 4. And it's not a coincidence that when we add 4, or when we add negative 4, we are moving 4 spaces away from that original number. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And then part B asks us if the sum lies to the right or the left on a horizontal number line, and then if we had a vertical number line, if it would be above or below. Well, in this first example, our sum is to the right. If we had a vertical number line, it would be above, and that is because the 4 that we are adding is a positive number. Okay. So in the 2 plus 4 equals 6, the sum is to the right on a horizontal, and it would be above on a vertical. When we are adding a negative number, you'll notice that our sum is to the left, because we're counting down with a negative, and then it would be below the negative, or sorry, below the positive 2 on a vertical number line, because again, we would have a negative number and it would be coming down. Okay. If we look at letter C, still on page 12 for you, given the expression 54 plus 81, determine without finding the sum. So we don't really need to add that. We just want to know the distance between 54 and the sum. So if we had a really long number line and we drew a vector out to 54, we would want to know how big of a vector we would need to draw for the number 81. And the answer is a vector that's 81 spaces long. Okay, because we're adding 81, and the absolute value of 81 is 81. So it would be 81 spaces away. Question D is on your next page, and it wants to know if that sum would be to the right or left of 54 on a horizontal number line, and above it or below it on a vertical. Well, because 81 is positive, the sum is to the right on a horizontal and above on a vertical. And again, it's because it's a positive number. If it were negative, however, we would be moving to the left and down. Okay, we're going to look at one more set of numbers here, this time with a negative number. So this time if we had 14 plus a negative 3, again, we don't want to add those together. We just want to know how far away, or that distance, between 14 and the sum. So how far would our vector be? Well, if we're adding a negative 3, if we're counting on, we would need to draw a vector that's 3 spaces away, because the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. And because it's a negative 3, the sum would be to the left on a horizontal number line, and it would be below on a vertical number line. Okay. At this point, pause your video, copy down any other notes that you need to. We are going to have some questions on that Google form for you to answer.